YouTube and AllTrails, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here for my very first trail review here on YouTube. And typing out a review is awesome, and I can do that and make it enticing, but hearing it from somebody and also knowing their skill level at the time that they do it based on being able to follow their channel. So just go back to my welcome video and you'll know where I'm coming from at the time of this review. So basically, if you remember from that video also, I said that I was a seasonal employee and I work in Ontario and I live in Nova Scotia. So I'm back in Ontario. I flew in last night. As you can see, I am in a really old camper. There's actually a tape deck in this thing. But I got lucky and I picked it up for 200 bucks. It's going to last the entire season. It doesn't leak and everything works in it except for the oven. So plumbing and everything, it's amazing. There's 2 screens that need repair, and other than that, I couldn't have lucked out any better for the season. So without further ado, today's review is on a trail that we dubbed Porcupine Trail, and the reason for that is at the very end of our trail, our dog nearly got attacked by a porcupine we didn't even see. He was sniffing at something, and then all of a sudden my daughter went over to look at what he was so interested in, and she jumps back and she screams, "It's a porcupine!" And we pull the dog back, you know, right at the last minute, and she's saying, "Well, Dad, like it was hissing and making noise," and I'm like, we got so lucky because we had to walk another like 2.5 miles. We were right at the end or middle of a loop basically that we were making. So basically that's why we called it the Porcupine Trail. It's split off of the Ash Lake Trail, which I will link in the description, and I will also link the Porcupine Trail version that I did and our AllTrails profile, so that if you haven't seen it and you didn't land here from AllTrails, that you can visit our stats and everything that we've done, and that Porcupine Trail as well. The Ash Lake Trail and the Porcupine Trail are very similar until one point where you lose track of the Ash Lake Trail, and the navigation is so poor that you're basically following your AllTrails phone app. And we decided that because the navigation was so poor and that nobody had done the route in over 5 months, the Ash Lake Trail hadn't been reviewed for 5 months, that was the reason why we were going to go. Well, we went and we made it a few feet in and realized that there's really no way to figure out where you are. If you're on the Ash Lake Trail or you're just walking up a side of a hill, right beside the 6 Mile Falls, there's a cutout that is indicating that that's the trail. And other than that, you really lose your way pretty quickly going up the hill. It's only a few feet, and you realize that you need to start going, you know, on a 45 to the left, and you end up catching up to the trail for quite a while. And it seems easy and everything's fine. And the terrain doesn't make it hard. The conditions don't make it hard. The elevation don't make it hard, and the distance doesn't make it hard. But I'm still going to call this a moderate trail because of the really poor lack of navigation and the size, the fact that at some point in the trail you do end up in a marshy bog, not a swamp that has algae and stuff that's going to stick to your body and be disgusting all day, but some really high grass that at points you're going to step in, and depending on your height, like I'm 6'3" and my wife is like just over 5 foot, so there's a huge difference between us. And when I walked, it was barely over my ankle, even at the worst moments when I sunk down. And our dog was able to jump in and out of the water. He's a mid-sized pit bull. He's a runt, so he's not a huge titan or anything. But he was jumping in and out of the water, and he made it to the island, which is the goal. And we didn't even really know that there was an island there. But the longer you go on the hike, you end up coming to an exclusive island that actually has a sign-in box hidden there. And we didn't have a pen, but it hasn't been signed for 20 years. So it's kind of cool to see that 20 years ago, people were trying to communicate with the community and keep it going and give people a reason to hike even more. So it was kind of like, I seen it on the tree and I was like, is that a geocache? And my daughter started exploring and she realized what it was. It was basically a sign-in to this little island that is just there, and it's kind of between 2 lakes. One's an overflow lake and one's an actual lake. and it creates two mini waterfalls in the middle, and it's just a great place to have lunch, really close to Halifax and the Timberley area and Bayers Lake if you're from that area or in the area for vacation, or there to hike. I wouldn't recommend coming from far away to get this hike in or anything like that. It's just an average hike. It was something that we picked that it was actually listed as easy, and we hadn't hiked in a really long time, like our walk-on video says. So we figured, okay, like let's pick something easy to get started. And then 2 days from now, I was just like, okay, well, no, like that's I'm feeling fine, so let's go out the next day. So we skipped the next day, and we went out the day after. So basically, twice in 3 days we went hiking, and we did something like 12 miles or 11 miles or something like that in 2 days. So it was fun to go on the trail. I'm only going to give it a 3-star, like I did on the other site, on All Trails, just because, to be frank with you, that there was zero navigation pretty much. Like, I mean, where it was obvious, there was navigation, but the boardwalks were in some serious, almost non-existent condition, and at any time there will be a spot where you can't cross where we crossed because the bridge will be disintegrated and gone. It's still in decent and strong shape now, enough to hold a 300-pound person. It didn't sag or anything in the middle, but it's down to like one board, and it's framed so in the middle. So it is wearing out mostly in the middle, and it's deep enough that it needs a bridge. I mean, you can see the bottom, but even if I fell in, it would probably be up to like here on me. And I don't think anybody wants to hike around all day if they didn't expect to get that wet. I know that I don't walk with a full wetsuit on and expect to walk up to here to hike. Okay, so in water. So unless you do, congratulations, and get this trail on your bucket list. But otherwise, it's a good trail for some exercise if you live close by. But other than that, I would skip this trail and call it a dud, and just chalk it up to my training and experience and an opportunity to introduce you to myself again. I am the Trekking Trucker, and if you are interested in more reviews like this from trails that are on All Trails or trails that we've spawned and created ourselves based on what started on All Trails or anything like that, we plan to bring you all kinds of videos that focus mainly on hiking, not the commercial side like the gear and all that. If we do use gear or anything like that, you will know about it. Obviously, we do need the opportunity to be supported both by likes, subscriptions, and everything like that at some point if we want to continue to bring you content that's valuable and interesting. With that said and out of the way, I did promise to bring more light to the people who bring trails to us and obviously maintain them and make our sport possible, in my videos at least. Unfortunately, I can't do that based on Nova Scotia, Canada, and the Environmental Department for Climate Change. Nobody is responsible for the Blue Mountain Wilderness area near Halifax, and therefore it's basically a use at your own leisure area, and some of the area is owned by the hydro company, and they are working to develop the network and area more so for recreation and as well as protecting the wildlife. They have expanded the area about 500 hectares, hectares, or however you say it, hectares. So they back in 2015, and again they expanded in 2019. So I would say that there's still some interest in making the area better. So if you hike it, take it upon yourself to make it more user friendly. So if you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, or think it would be helpful to anybody else, please like, sub, or share. That will help us get found, and obviously I'm a new channel, so I could use any help I could get, and I'm grateful for anybody who does. So keep on trekking and have a super fine day.